Okay, so I'm at a emergency service call. It's Saturday, 10 a.m. and there's quite a bit going on. So, as you can see here, there's some melting on the insulation of the piping. I did pull out my carbon monoxide detector and I wasn't getting any carbon monoxide, thankfully. But I pulled off the elbow going into the chimney, and you can see there's a lot of crud down there, but there was a piece of terracotta, a whole big brick, blocking the combustion gases from going up. So he needs to install the chimney liner, and I informed him of that. Expansion tank is full, but our main issue is this circulator. It's dead. It's not dead. It's circulating very poorly, very rusted up, and I'm hoping that I can get the new one in with everything that I have, hoping that the flanges stay intact for me, because I don't have flanges of this size. 1.25 inches on the bottom and 1.25 inches again on top, and it's Saturday, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get anything. But I have my circulator. We're going to try to get him up and running for the time being. And he's considering boiler replacement. I told him that it's about time before repairs start piling on top of each other. It might be a good idea to consider just ripping it out and putting a new one in. Just going with a regular standard cast iron, nothing crazy high efficiency or anything like that. Draining down now. Got this dripping hose connection right there, boiler drain. Pulled off the air vent on top of the boiler and letting it drain. I'm gonna replace the air vent. Actually, I probably won't replace the air vent because he is planning on replacing it. With the amount he's going to spend in repairs to fix a few things, it's going to be a lot. So, got power off right there. I turned power off at the stairs as well. And let's see if I could break these loose. Okay, it's pretty tough. Took about 30 minutes, but I got it out. So, try to get this all cleaned up and get the new one in. Here's the old one. The leaking capacitor. The capacitor being bad is probably what caused the motor to fail. You gotta get this bolt out, which should be easy enough. Spin it a couple times. Had to use my socket set to get back here. Okay, so I got it out. I got that all cleaned up with some scratchy paper and a paper towel, and now I have to flip the circulator, if I can get that on camera. Got these 4 bolts on all the corners. I already broke them loose because this circulator is flowing into the boiler, and this has to be facing upwards. So I have to flip the head so that it faces upwards when it's flowing downwards, which is very easy to do. Just twist it full 180. It's a pain if you pull them off, so I always try to be careful to not pull the head off. And then lining it up sometimes is a pain too. Looks like this one's good to go. Hair. It's hard to get it a hair tighter, a hair any other direction. That one's in. That one's in. And I will tighten them in like a, almost a star pattern. Kind of like lug nuts on a car. I did just get these Allen wrenches from Amazon. Not sure what brand they are. They were not cheap and they're very nice. I stripped out my other ones on an RTU. Or I stripped out one of them on an RTU, and I was like, if it can't handle that much torque without stripping, I should get some different ones. And that's what I did. They don't have to be crazy tight, but tight. Now I'll get the gaskets on there, get it put in place, and try to get it tightened down. It's a tough spot to tighten. And just my luck, the boiler drain won't stop dripping. And I'm not going to take the risk of letting it fill up and seeing if it stops once it gets warm. I'm just going to replace it. It's just a boiler drain. It's cheap enough. I'm sure I'm going to get some water in there. Maybe not. Nope, water. Okay. Trying to keep my knees dry. Yes, channel locks on might just use it because it's quicker. It doesn't matter what this boiler drain looks like. I don't chew it up too much anyway. I'll go around one more time just to be safe. I was a little bit scared when I was loosening it because yesterday I went to unscrew a sight glass. It was brass too. Snapped right here. Threads were in the boiler. I had to drill it out and retap, and it worked out. But this was pretty tight. I got scared this was gonna end up snapping too. And pressure reducing valve is bad. Shut the water down. I'm gonna drain it, replace it. Okay, here's what I got. I put a shut-off valve in because I don't really trust that green one. Backflow and pressure reducing valve. I'm pressurizing now. Making sure that the circulator is not leaking. It was before. Before I even got pressure in the boiler, I just opened up the isolated zones. But looks like we're staying dry. So, should be okay. I just reconnected my flue. We're not getting any spillage now that I moved the debris out of the way. Definitely have some air in the system. Gonna have to work on purging. It's a little bit tough because these isolation valves aren't fully isolating. And they're also dripping, but that should stop when it warms up. I can't just go replacing all this guy's valves on a Saturday. I don't even have enough to do that. He just needs heat for now, and he's going to be replacing this in the near future, so just making sure that everything checks out. Okay, so just finishing up, getting the last of it cleaned. I'm going to tape that hole. I have silver tape in here. That hole was to do a combustion analysis and draft analysis. Here's our combustion. We do have negative draft, thankfully. Still needs to get someone in here to put a chimney liner in. But no carbon monoxide whatsoever, which is great. Very high temperature, which it's expected. It's an old boiler. I don't know the year, but it is pretty old. CO2 6.5, 9.3 on O2. Not perfect, but it's burning okay. And there's the boiler drain, our pressure reducing valve with our backflow and our isolation, our new air vent, circulators in the cabinet, which you could hear the air too. That'll work its way out. I purged as much as I could, and the homeowner said to just let it work its way out. Don't spend all day here purging. I did have to throw a screw in here to straighten out the cabinet because I bent it up a little bit, and it's sitting on there okay. Do a pipe doctor sticker on, and that's pretty much it. You see the temperature we're at right now on the boiler, 190, which is why the burner's kicked off. We're returning nice and hot. Before we were returning very, very like cold, like lukewarm, because there wasn't enough flow. And I did put the circulator on medium speed because I took out a 007 and that was a 0015. Medium speed is the 007 flow. But you know, we're heating. Nice and hot. Confirmed everything with the thermal imager, and should be good to go. After discussing some things with the homeowner, we are going to throw a new expansion tank on and swap out that air bleeder too while I'm here. So, gonna get that done. Okay, so new expansion tank is in. I know it's sideways. Don't have the means of putting it the right way right now. And he still does want to replace the boiler. It's just a matter of when he can do it. He had a stroke recently, so he's in and out of the hospital. But he wanted to make sure that this is all going to work for his wife while he's in and out. But yeah, you know, everything's working. It's got a good expansion tank now. 2 air vents, new boiler drain, pressure reducing valve. He's gonna be set. So let's see, 107 started at around 9:30. Oof, 4 hours. It's gonna be expensive one. Emergency service charge for 4 hours. Got all this stuff in here for a job on Tuesday. It's tough to work out of, but got everything cleaned up. Time to charge the customer and move on to the next. Finished up there. I am on my way now to a subscriber, someone who watches both me and Mike on YouTube. Steam boiler leaking. But it was really, really nice working for that customer that I just left. He was such a nice guy. He also tipped very, very, very well. But he made a point to thank me for the service that I provided, and kindness and professionalism, and prompt arrival, and the other Mike's service in the past he mentioned, and the office. So he's very, very, very happy. I mean, he went on for like 10 minutes about this with the service that we provide, regardless of how expensive it may end up being in case of an emergency. He was glad to spend the money knowing that we're doing the job right and we're giving him good information. And he still does want to replace the boiler, but it's just not a possibility at this time. Maybe in a few weeks or a month. But we'll see what's going on with this steam boiler. Maybe we'll sell a new boiler. Maybe it's something simple, but I'm gonna record because if the customer watches, I'm just gonna start recording immediately. Sometimes I don't like to, because I don't want the customers to be like, oh, why are you recording? Or it's awkward to record when they're hovering, but if this guy watches them, I'm gonna keep the camera out. So I'm at the customer with the steam boiler leaking, and you can see all the corrosion. Pulled off the cover, he pulled off the top. It was all wet from the steam up here, and just because, I'm gonna fill it up with water, pass the water line and see how the leak is. It leaks when it's running or all the time.
Only when it's running.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I turned it on until it would generate a lot of steam. Then it starts leaking a little. But naturally, when I turn it off, it just dries up. And that's it, nothing leaks. Because I came down like at least 50 times and checked it again. And I just had it running recently, not too long ago, so it feels warm.
Yeah.
As soon as it starts to...
So it should be full. And nothing actively dripping there. Don't see any water underneath. Do you get white smoke out of the chimney? Oh, but I see a lot of rust back there.
No, I went outside and I looked at the chimney.
No white smoke?
No. It doesn't lose water, like maybe like once or twice a month I have to fill it up. Not fill it up, like, you know, just tap it up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, we got a little bit of rust on the exhaust. An old, wow, that's cool. Old thermal switch.
I don't even know if it still works, but it does shut off. I mean, the water level sensor, it does shut it off when it kicks on.
The low water cutoff?
Yeah.
Vent damper connection with no vent damper. Old electronic ignition module. You can see, I stuck the camera in there. All the corrosion right there, which looks like that's where most of the water is either going or coming from.
And when it's on, the water is actually leaking.
So if you take a closer look, you can actually see the flames through the heat exchanger, which is not good because then flame exhaust gases can be seeping out here and entering the space. I did get a lot of condensation on the Testa when I did the combustion analysis. So I'm gonna take a look outside to see if we have any white smoke from the chimney. Okay, so I couldn't get a video of it leaking. It needs to be replaced. That's the only way to fix it. It's a steam boiler. It's old controls. It's oversized. So he's gonna call if he decides that he wants to replace it. But that's it for that one. I'm on my way now to a Bosch. I was at this Bosch, if I remember correctly, multiple times, which one of the repairs required replacing the braze plate heat exchanger, which was leaking domestic water into the heating water, causing it to overpressurize and pop the relief valve. And now we got an emergency service for leaking water. So if this braze plate heat exchanger is bad again, that's going to be it's not going to be good because it took a while to get and it was not easy to put the new one in. But see what happens, and hopefully I get some good footage. Make a quick pit stop at Dunkin' Donuts. I love their bacon, egg, and cheese. Going to the side door. Been here multiple times. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Cold out there.
It is.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Just see what you can do here for us, if anything.
And just leaking internally.
Yes.
And that's our leak. Right on the plastic. And I believe that is domestic water, so could shut domestic water off. This is hot.
My bucket out if you wait.
Which is cold. This is cold. Close that. And it should slow down and stop. Yeah, domestic water outlet. Okay, so I isolated cold water coming in for the domestic and hot water coming out. That way it's not currently dripping, or at least not with any high pressure. It may still drip for a little bit, just a little residual water, but not spraying like crazy anymore.
So I should check my bowl often, right?
Yeah, I'd come and give it a look, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be spraying water like crazy, so it's not going to really damage anything, aside from some rust on the bottom. And this unit is roughly 5 years old. Serial number.
What's your lifespan on these boilers?
No way we're getting this fixed today, which stinks, but at least I stopped the leak, but they don't have hot water now, which it's better than nothing. They thought that they wouldn't have heat and be an issue, but we come here so often that I'm giving them the service agreements, because it's definitely worth it for them to sign up with the amount of time they call us for stoppages, for heating, for everything. So I'd like them to get it, to save them some money and some headache. We'll be guaranteed to be here for issues if they arise. Okay, so it's a bummer I couldn't fix it, but that's Bosch. That's what happens. Can't get the parts in time. Customer's gonna order the part. Actually, he did order the part already, and as soon as it gets there, put it in. Looks like it's not getting there till Tuesday or Wednesday, which is absurd. Should be able to get it next day, but whatever. He's happy that it's not dripping, it's not leaking, so at least his basement stays dry. They can work with not having hot water. But that's pretty much it. I did try to push them to getting rid of the Greenstar and putting in something else, because it's just a nightmare. They're gonna end up spending in a few years in repairs the same amount that they would spend on a new boiler, which is stupid, but whatever. They also didn't install flush valves, the original installers, so can't flush the boiler, and it's black pipe, so wouldn't be the easiest thing in the world to put in flush valves. But yeah, that's it. Pretty eventful Saturday, I guess. If you enjoyed watching, like the video, comment any advice or criticism or feedback, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.